Command post constructed.
Thank you.
Killing spree.
Hold your fire! Hold your fire!
Dynamite
Killing
planted.
spree.
Dynamite planted. Dynamite
It has a much more intricate detail of how Razy plays it, how to expose it, and when the clutch goes wrong, it looks awful. So we saw that with Garpy CNZ. There are times and places where you can expose the weaknesses of the clutch, and Chain does not have that answer.
Didn't have the answer there. I mean, again, I go back to the way these maps have started for Chain, both in the series with Wenger and now with the gauntlet kill against Razy. It's pretty brutal, and Chain has to do his best to just mentally reset and be like, that was just a clutch thing. That's it, I swear, and get back into this map, because that is a rough start.
I just Athena has such a small margin for error. Like, at least if you have a Scale Bear or a Sorlag or a Keel, and we saw Keel against Razy with, I think it was clutch as well. Like, at least you have that foundation to build off and just run at your opponent to try and man fight them. But the Athena, as we saw, like Razy was hitting more rails on the Athena than Athena was hitting on clutch. So there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, he hit all the rails he needed to, but clutch just huge stack, plated armor on that robot, and yeah. You hope to see Chain bounce back and try and fight back for this, because it's starting to creep into my head. There could be a world where he kind of goes 0-6, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. He doesn't need that. The double dose of Maestro is just too strong.
I mean, the panel said 3-0, 3-1. What is your prediction?
I feel like Chain could... I would wipe that map clean. That didn't happen, right? Let's forget about what just happened. The series starts now. I feel like Chain can put up a map, at least. I believe in the kid. The comeback kid will put up a map, and those are probably famous last words, but here we're just seeing the highlight reel of Razy. It's Shotgun Central, and just really well played by Razy. I mean, not taking anything against him. Just, again, as we mentioned before, just because you pick clutch doesn't mean you automatically get a win. You have to know how to use that champion.
Sure.
Razy, by far the best in the world on clutch, proving time and time again. Ban it if you can. Get it out of there. Maybe even start counter-picking it if you can't ban it. Just get it out of his hands, because he is a monster.
He is rather scary. We're going to move on to Vale, which is Chain's pick. Ison against Doomslayer on the EU server. Chain is definitely exceptional in this map. We saw him play it yesterday to incredible effect. He has such creative use of the angles on the map and understands in detail how to play it. I think he even picked Ison, so we've seen him come to the fore there. Razy with the Doomslayer. I'm sensing more aggression from Razy.
Yeah, aggression, and then since you're up close and personal, a lot of rocket fights, so the double jump can aid him in kind of missing some of those direct and splash damage. I'd really like to see Chain set up those turrets over by the Mega. That seems to be super effective, kind of protecting the tele exit and just causing chaos when you try and go up there and actually fight for the Mega, and that's exactly what Chain needs to do. He needs a good start to the map, be it slow, be it getting a frag early, but just do not give up a frag early. It's happened far too much. Please do not start playing from behind. It's just not going to be good. So that's what I'm hoping for his sake.
Yeah, poor Chain has started 4 maps on the row now, conceding a frag within the first 30 seconds. So it's been an uphill battle the whole time against Maestro. I do feel, though, that his style just struggles against Razy. Obviously, he's developed a lot as a player since he last met him in a tournament environment. But even still, the way in which Razy plays, he likes to be on the front foot and get into Chain's face. It does counter Chain's slightly more reserved rail-based style. And even when Chain wants to play that rail-based style, as we just saw with Razy, he's quite happy to resort to playing that man fight battle with the rail, and he often comes out on top. So Chain definitely needs to adjust somewhat. And obviously, this is going to be the map to do it. His home pick, he has Ison. He has to make something happen now if he's going to stay in this battle.
This one is going to be medium on medium champ, but I have this lingering feeling that Razy's still going to start off super aggressive. I feel like he's in his head a little bit, especially after that gauntlet frag. I don't think he fears anything. The God Slayer, he just wants to get this over with. This is just another day at the office for him. Chain, send Chain your energy in the chat as we're going to go live on map number 2 on Veil between these two. Razy versus Chain. Chain fighting for his life here.
Rank 7 versus rank 8, and already we have an engagement straight away. Razy pulling out and bullying Chain away, and once again Chain's going to go down very early here. He might be lucky and get away just for now. The rockets are good, but he's missed out on both major items.
That's still huge. The fact that he stood his ground and forced Razy off is a victory. I mean, it's small victories, right? Start off small.
What is it?
Give up full control, but
with Chain and starts. What is it? It must be reflecting and saying, what am I doing wrong?
It feels like he's just getting bullied. That's it. Like, he's not expecting that kind of aggression. On that one, he did. He got a little bit lucky with the good defensive rockets, and he had obviously the rocket available to him, which helps immensely. But he needs to be careful. There's the turret as Razy gets the high ground. He can deal with the turret easily. No. Oh no, he's to back away from that. That could have been disastrous there as he pushes through the telly.
Interesting push by Chain, maybe thinking Razy was moving off earlier than he was, and he's missed out completely on that mega. Got free, taken away, and stolen by Razy, as is the heavy, and Chain is now vulnerable. Chain, this is the time where Razy wants to push, but he also wants to evaluate the best course of action. Razy, extremely creative in the way in which he approaches fights, often catching his opponent off guard, and Chain is just retreated to the catacombs, doesn't want to show his face. So Razy says, that's fine, but early days, I don't want to lose this stack.
Perfect timing on that heavy, deals with the turret without issue, almost getting that rail, threading that needle here. Good fake jump. Take the rocket and avoid it, and this is the slow start that I think Chain needs. Nothing crazy. Holding on to the upper ground, that information from that rocket is going to give Chain kind of an exit strategy here, as he knows exactly where Razy is. Razy's doing a great job of maintaining high ground until he absolutely needs to drop, and he finds his prey. Can he hit the shot? Very patient with the rail, but neither player will land some damage. Again, another cycle goes to Razy.
Another cycle indeed. Chain setting up for this mega, and this is a good chance for him to do some damage to Razy, as Razy's on the low ground and Chain set up perfect. He's got that turret in position. He himself is perfectly placed. Razy using the speed boost through. Perfect rocket to rail. The turret is going to get in the way, and doesn't matter. Razy just hops up above it and picks up that first frag with relative ease. I really loved that use of the teleporter speed.
That was beautiful. That was, he knew exactly how the defense was set up. He read it perfectly, and he capitalized. And Chain will get a heavy, but at what cost? As the LG float from down below is so strong. A little bit of rocket damage with a follow-up rail hit. LG's out instead. Razy still hunting. Tri-bolt from down below. Sending Chain packing towards the rail room. Can he get away? The shotgun almost chunking him there, as we saw so much use of that on the first map. But Razy wins out on the mega, and that's good enough for him with the heavy coming up. Chain can't really fight for it. Maybe set up for a rail if he's lucky, but it doesn't look like he's going to be around.
No, he shouldn't be around, as we've seen the power of Razy when he gets that stack and he finds Chain in the vicinity. Chain's already setting up for this mega, but it is very early. I'm not sure if Chain has miscalculated that timing, as he seems to be standing on it, and Razy's going to be pushing in here, realizing that Chain is around. Nice rail and dropping out the way. It does allow Razy an easy pickup here.
Stopwatch.
Oh no, Chain gets booted into the air, and the combo is there, and an easy finish. Chain, realizing he was going to die, wanted a last lick of damage, can't even get that. I do feel that Chain needs to just craft more substantial openings. I mean, that was a vulnerable position to be in, and Razy understood what his opponent's up to.
He thought he could make him ride the lightning. Razy with a great rocket, rail, shotgun combo, just hitting everything. Very unfortunate for Chain, but still early. Only down 2. This is the slowest game that we've seen on Chain's end, which again is good, but Razy is just so dominant right now. Full control of the map again, maintaining high ground, only really dropping down to pick up that heavy. You can see the rails from Chain are good, but unfortunately they seem to be right before the major item, so it's all useless damage.
If if you looked at Razy's heat map, this is pretty much the first time he's been out of that central area. As you rightly say, his positioning has just been so alpha. And it's forced Chain away, but for the first time they did exchange rails and Chain has won himself a scarce item. They're going to contest here over the heavy. Razy's got the low ground and Chain's going to find it difficult to get up there. The double jump is not enough as Razy's taken a lot of damage. He is very much railable. He snuck himself away, but Chain, being low himself, is skeptical about making any sort of advances. He's going to come on through, but eats a rocket for his troubles and shouldn't be pushing through here because Razy is now healthy and will pick up the Mega. And despite the good work of Chain, he needs to start from square one.
All undone rather quickly there, and Razy does a great job of dealing with the turret immediately. Doesn't want to fall for any shenanigans here from Chain, as Chain taking position down by that lower jump pad. Good rail, but again, Heavy's right up there, so again, you hit those rails, but you're giving up the items right after. You need to try and find a way to hit those rails after the item.
Exactly, and this is the problem, is that he's not doing enough in and around the pickups. It's a single rail here or there, and as you rightly say, it's generally just before the item pickups. Now, for the first time in this map, more or less, Razy is vulnerable. He will have to back off here. Chain should be able to get onto this heavy. I'm sure Razy will try to hit a rail, but now he's going to be vulnerable. Chain knows he can push in. He's gone through the high ground. Lam's going to come out. Razy's been cornered here. Chain should be pushing in, and he does. He wants to get a relatively clean kill, and that is nice. Right in time for the heavy, right in time for the Mega. Might even rocket jump up to try and get it. Razy's in position. He hasn't got any weaponry though.
A little bit unfortunate for Chain, did have to give up the Mega, but still he put a frag on the board. He's firmly planting his feet in this one, not gonna let it slip away. Still down by one, but looking a lot more solid here as he's patrolling this rocket area. Doesn't want to give up anything for free, makes the jump. Always terrifying to see that.
Yeah. I am somebody who would miss that and then try to score.
I wouldn't judge you at all as Razy jumps down. That's a good rail from Chain there. Again, the Mega giving Razy that overstack. Stack's about even, all things considered. The turret's going to be up shortly. And yeah, Chain's got to know that rockets are in possession. If he didn't already, Razy with the flare right there, zooming past his head. Still up one frag, 7 minutes in. This is getting a little tight here.
It is indeed, but Chain's done a good job to stabilize. Obviously, how much control Razy had for the first 3 or 4 minutes. To not give away any more frags than he did is a feat unto itself. So step one is complete for Chain. It's about now how he can maintain control for himself. Try and get the item split a bit more, which is exactly what he's doing. Next objective will be trying to steal away that heavy. He drops down, but he doesn't actually take the Mega, and now he's rocked himself away from the Mega. Overcomplicating that situation. And that feels bad, because now he needs to retreat. He shouldn't be showing his face.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's one of those things where if he would have hit, 2 great rockets, it might have looked great, leaving the item up, dropping down on his opponent, but instead he just gives it up for free. Full map control back to Razy. Chain now on the back foot, needs to be careful. That's a good rail in the Thunderdome there as Razy comes barging in. Chain's going to need more.
Blocking that potential cheeky play through the teleporter with that turret. As he does, knocks Razy up for an easier rail. Nice positioning. I think he hoped it would actually stall him in this track, but instead it just floated Razy.
He kind of used it as a jump pad, just right over, leapfrogging over it, but he did miss out on the Mega. Chain gets full control now. And as we inch closer to the deadline here, Chain looking strong to try and equalize it too.
And Chain is so heavily reliant on his rail at the moment. Every time he misses it, it's extremely painful because he's letting Razy off the hook. And as many, all the nice rails he's hit, he's missed an equal amount of potential easier ones. He's going to have to start hitting some more as the time is already approaching 9 minutes, and he is obviously the one who needs to be chasing Razy. Good back-to-back rails from Razy. Chain's taken enough damage, will jump through the teleporter and retain position up on this high ground. He actually hasn't been enough for my liking. He's lived predominantly on the low ground.
Really good rail. Smells blood. He's going to double back onto the Mega and have time to get back to the heavy. Is Razy going to stick around here and risk the equalizing frag? No, he's going to be out of there. 45 seconds left. Pressure mounting for Chain. He does have the stack, but now he needs the frag.
Heard his opponent. He knows he's in the acid room. He's caught him through the jump. pad, but Razy's already gone.
Great job of playing keep away. 30 seconds left. Shane needs to speed up here and try and find Razy. He's going to get one more cycle of items, but after that, it's go time.
Caught him here in the rocket room. Razy's got great damage. Rockets are rare. Once again, Chain needs to pick up an item. Razy knows he's low, but won't want to commit. He's going to be hiding here through the acid room once again. Will be retreating as he hears Chain on the chase. Chain doubles back, goes towards the jump pad. Razy once again will hear him. He's hiding in the corner. Rocket! And GG.
That was unfortunate. Chain a little bit too slow near the end there, but very, very close. That's the kind of game I want Chain to play, and you saw right out of the gate, Razy put on the aggression, and the fact that Chain stopped it, Razy was like, okay, I understand. I can't just bully you right now. And I think that's what Chain needs to do. Like, on the third map, I expect Razy to be just as aggressive right off the spawn.
It felt like there were times in that encounter where Razy was living in Chain's head rent-free, that Chain was second-guessing himself on where he should be standing or what he should be doing at certain times, and I think the ending showed it perfectly. Like, there was a time and a place to play slow, and he was obviously trying to trap Razy, but Razy countered that by playing slow himself and wouldn't move his position unless he hurt his opponent. So I think Chain definitely second-guessed himself quite a lot throughout that encounter, and that was one of the reasons why he narrowly missed out on tying that up.
Very, very close to that equalizing frag there, but Razy up 2-0. Is the panel going to be right? Is this going to be a shutout? We're going to move on to the third map shortly here. Razy's going to be on the Galena, Chain's going to be on Anarchy, and we are going to Molten Falls.
Yeah, we saw Chain put up some decent performances on Molten Falls, but likewise is going up against Razy, and when you get to this stage of the competition, the margins are always so small, you can't really put it down to a map pick. We do, as you say, have Galena against the Anarchy. What's your feeling of Galena on Molten, as it's a little bit of a rarer pick on the map?
I like it because there's a lot of cheeky spots where you can put totems and get that overstack going. I also like it against Anarchy specifically because if you put those totems around corners, again, it's so easy with Anarchy to just kind of zoom around the map and just, I gotta go fast like Ricky Bobby, but then you just smack into totems, it gives you that information. You also get the damage, it stops you dead in your tracks, it's brutal. So I think that's a solid pick, but again, I think it's really going to be based on how the entire game starts for Chain.
Yeah, and I think as we've said extensively, he cannot afford once again to lose out on the start of the map. He needs to just play safe, play solo, get a foundation to work off, and I think he did that well. I want to see more urgency in his play. I don't think he imposed himself on the map, maybe gave Razy too much respect in the last map in particular. We didn't see him working the high ground enough when he had control. He still stuck to the low ground and played like the beta. So I just wanted to see take the game to Razy a little bit more. And this really is his last chance in this event now. It is, if he loses this, he's out, and that would be such a shame for how well he's done up until now.
This is it, tournament life on the line. This is where you need to play your best. I'd love to see Chain put himself in positions where he could deal some damage after the major items and make sure to clear out those totems as best you can, because that overstack is going to be up.
Exactly. Got to be mindful as well of the speed of the Anarchy throughout. As you say, it's always a key facet in these encounters, as well as using that inject just to restack it. So putting more emphasis on the heavy could be a core tactic here.
Is this going to be it? Razy up 2-0 in the series in the lower bracket. Is this going to be the end of our hero, Chain, the comeback kid? No better time than now. He really needs to poutine the work, and we're going to get right into it. How dare you? What do you mean? That was perfect. Yeah, I think, again, it comes down to the start and just being able to clear out those totems and dealing damage around the items after the pickup, and I think that's going to be the key for Chain.
No, I agree. That for me is about being more aggressive in his positioning. He's only turning up in and around the item pickups and then disappearing off the map, and he wasn't stringing rails back to back as he has done in previous games, and Razy's too smart and too diligent to allow him to do that. So you have to be more aggressive and get in the face of Razy sometimes, even though it is a scary thought. And if he does that, he's certainly within a shout. And this is why I was saying that I do feel there's a bit of a clash of styles, because Chain's passiveness allows Razy to sit back when he wants to and take those run engagements, and Razy was always the one for me to take the initiative.
If you're Chain, do you still try and play how you were going to play. You know, you have a set game plan at the beginning of the series, right? Kind of knowing the pick bands ahead of time and then looking forward. Now that the maps haven't gone his way, do you think he adjusts already, or do you think he says, okay, this is a new map, regardless of what happened, I just need to start playing my game? Or do you think we're going to see that adjustment that he needs to have in terms of how to start? Does he expect somebody to attack off the spawn, as we've seen countless times now? Like, at this point, I just want him to have a weapon out and just wait and make sure, okay, you're going to play aggressive no matter where I am. Like, I just need to be ready.
It's a good question, because like Arena FPS and Quake is so intricate anyway, because there's so many elements of strategy, and obviously Quake Champions introduces a whole new level. So going into a map, you have to think about who is my opponent, what is their style, what do they want to do, and then that also changes based on which champions they've picked, which also changes on the map. So there's so many layers you have to think through. And at the end of the day, the simplest answer and the most boring answer is you need to play the way that makes you feel comfortable, and not change it based on circumstance or how you sit in a series, because if you're not feeling your game and if you're not comfortable in your game, you're not going to play well.
We talk about that totem?
5 minutes, soldier.
I mean, it's a race. Oh, which totem?
He threw it on the top of the arch right in the railroad.
Yeah, it's a Razy totem. Yeah, it's a Razy totem.
Beautiful for those who haven't seen it. As Razy playing very, very slow, trying to trap in the rail room here. Doing a good job of getting those time shards. And he's going to have 2 totems up rather quickly. And again, the overstack is imminent. It's going to be brutal for Chain.
It is the first game we've seen in Chain for a while where there has been an even trade of items off the start, so Chain has that foundation to work off. He's also got the high ground advantage here over by Razy. We saw earlier in the day the way in which Venka was countering Chain on this map was just playing that plus back game on the items, but Chain has mistimed that item way too early. Razy capitalizing on it, falling back, suggesting to Chain, hey, the item's up and I don't want to contest, but nope, it was a trap all along.
Really good play there from Razy. Unfortunate for Chain getting caught out, and now he might get caught out again. Needs to be careful. Razy lying in wait. There's the rocket. He wants to chase with the LG. Chain has nothing to work with. 2-0 up easily for Razy.
Also enjoying that totem consistently placed by the teleporter. You obviously mentioned it before, as the Anarchy can just run around gobbling up totems. That does a considerable amount of damage to his light stack, and going through the teleporter is always one of the critical paths that the Anarchy will need to take at some point. So keeping a good placement there will ensure you should get free damage.
Free damage and information, and that's huge. Razy stack is gigantic. Great rail around that pole there. The rocket's raining in from Chain, trying to get some damage. Good rail. As the tribal not landing for Razy, can't find any damage, but that's not going to stop him. The rocket jump up. He wants this frag. Aggressive play with the LG into the rail. Little miss. He does have a totem in the back pocket though. And there it is, the overstack, trying to hunt him down with LG again. Chain needs to be careful. Good rocket, but Razy prevails and grabs the mega. 3 HP for Razy on that one.
He's also going back to set up for the heavy. I would love to see Chain put some damage out here, because he knows Razy's weak. He's going to be there, but he's going to be a second late. That's painful for Chain, as that was a key opportunity for him to try and impose himself. And it's small things like that where I'd love to see just more urgency coming from Chain. And once again, the overstack is up. It's not something Chain will be aware of, so gotta be wary. Oh, the Razy did miss the item pickup. Doesn't come back to haunt him, however.
Making his way back over to the heavy, which will be up shortly. Lots of nail spam. Chain's gonna be down below, and he's gonna get the heavy, but he's gonna take so much damage. That follow-up rail doesn't land, luckily for him. And actually, the return rail is fantastic from Razy. Hits one of his own, and now it's gonna be a fight to the death. Totem comes down. The overstack saves his life. Still very weak. Tribolt isn't gonna prevail.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Tense moment for both players. Exchanging rails once again. This is one of the reasons why Chain finds it so hard to catch the Galena out in the open. It's Razy that actually comes out by exchanging rails time and time again. It nullifies the way Chain wants to play. Great back-to-back rails. Can't finish off with a third. He is low. They're both low. Razy switching to Tribolt, forcing Chain away as he is scared of more of that splash damage coming out. And Razy is now weak and will miss out on the mega. Okay, that's how you get that totem.
That's so cheeky. Razy, he's just getting so much mileage out of those totems. You saw in the middle of the fights too, the pocket totem, the ones that are already down, the overstack healing him. They're saving his life quite literally. Here's the tri-bolt spam coming in. Again, overstack already ready. There's a rocket from above. He's going to chase with the shotgun through the telly. Chain dropping down too early. Oh.
Why are you dropping in that situation? It's unnecessary. And I want to point out exactly what you said. It's remarkable how Razy's had 3 overstacks already in the first 4 minutes, and he's only had 1 of these more creative positionings of his totems. So, I mean, it's hard because there's so many things to be doing at once within a duel like this, but Chain needs to be taking out these totems. Shotgun to the face, Chain will need to back away now, wants to do 1 more, just careful of Razy pushing up. And I don't know, to me it feels Chain's a little bit rattled again.
Razy's playing so solid, and the totem placement is everything, right? Hide 1, really cheeky, have 1 at the telly exit, and then keep 1 in your pocket, and that's exactly how Razy's playing.
Again, just the self-damage to sweep up the map, and this is what happens when Razy feels momentum. He does just begin to eat all resources, and Anaki's not left with a lot to live off. He is using the overstack fairly often though, and it will be back up again for the next engagement, but as is Razy's own overstack, and he's also been eating up all major items. If Chain goes through, there we go. He knows the totems are there, rocket jumps around, clears out 2. It's methodical, you have to take it a step at a time, and coming in, this is a dangerous push as he doesn't seem to have the lightning gun. If he does, it's not out, and he's trapped himself in a corner. Razy buying his time. He lets Chain get away, but Chain popped the injection, he took the mega, and he's out of position for this heavy.
Does get back to deal a little bit of damage, but nothing too crazy. As Razy still a firm 4-0 lead, 6 minutes in. And I do like that play from Chain earlier, rocket jumping around, doesn't trust the telly, but part of me thinks that Razy saw that, and now he's going to set a trap there, knowing that Chain is going to want to clear out like that. He might float him with LG or something, so Chain has to be careful. As again, using all those time vials very well, and again, overstack for Razy.
I don't know how he's got so much of the service stack. He's also caught Chain here. Chain actually just fortunately drops onto that heavy, slightly to the surprise of Razy, but the overstack is there. Nice double back from Chain. He did need a totem, but it was totally worth it. The gent comes out because now he wants to contest for this mega. He knows it's up, he knows the timing, but Razy's under him. He's pinned him and somehow gets the frag.
What a float. Razy with his best Pennywise impression. We all float down here. 5-0. I mean, what can Chain do? 7 minutes, he's got to start being a little...
Need a medic. Hold your fire.
West bunker captured. Destroy the gun controls.
Hold your fire.
Medic.
Hold your fire. Need a medic. No problem.
They've retaken the west bunker. Dynamite planted.
Need a medic.
Hold your fire. Need a medic. Thank you.